Anybody up for a little Jenga? I know you want to play. Hi, this is Myra with Boutique Paint. We're going to make ornaments, and we're going to use Jenga pieces from the Dollar Store. And one of the other stockists for Iron Orchid Design, I think she's the one that came up with using these parts for ornaments. And unfortunately, I don't remember which stockist it was last year. So they come in these little pieces if you're not familiar with the game. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make bigger pieces with them. So we're just gonna take a little glue. And we're gonna try to get the glue to come out. One. Two. Three. You can make them as tall as you want to. And these are just a great base for ornaments. Squeeze them together. And I'm putting these on one of the sheets from the stamps to dry. Just wipe the glue up a little bit. Flip it. You can also use saran wrap or tin foil, wax paper, dining room table. You wanted a new dining room table, didn't you? Yeah. Okay, so you can glue 3 of those up. I've done some with 4. I've done some with 5. Just depends on what you want to put on there. So we're going to put that aside, let it dry, and I'll show you how I got my coloring on some of these pieces. I'll scoop these off to the side. It's kind of fun to kind of batch glue those up. That way you have a whole bunch of them and you can kind of go into production on making ornaments. This one is a white paint, and then I took our Pure Home paint. We have a glaze called Weather Gray, and I just dry brushed it over that. This one is stained, and I whitewashed over the top of that. This is the Weathered Gray, and this is just white by itself. I'll show you real quick. Painting, kind of whitewashing over the stain. Just a little bit of paint on your brush, don't need much, and you just go to the side using your brush kind of at an angle and just lightly go over it. And you can add as much or as little as you want. I just did basically the same thing then in reverse on this one. So I just took the brush and painted on a little bit of the Weathered Gray. And set those aside. And then we can make the ornament, or the decoration part. So for the next step, we're going to work with the molds and resin to create the decoration part. And I'm using some metallic mica powder. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to color the inside of the mold. And as you can probably see by my mold, it is very well used so far this holiday season. And you can two-tone this. I'm going to put some brown down here. And since we're going to go ahead and mix up some of the resin, we're going to go ahead and do put the powder coloring into a couple of these. When you're mixing up the resin, until you've got understand the play time that you have with them, because this sets so fast, it can set up in the cup that you've mixed it in quickly, and so you don't want to mix up too much. That's what I'm trying to say. And you want to mix up just a little bit the first couple times till you can kind of get a feel for it, and always, you know, pour out whatever is left. Even if you just think, well, I'm not going to use that, you can use it for something else later. I'm going to grab a red here. Oops, wrong side. I'm going to do the berries. Here, some red. I should do, let's go back to the brown. Do a couple pine cones. Okay, let's see. Anything else we want to do? Should we do one? And like I said, if you have leftover resin, just go ahead and pour it in. You can always color or paint it later. I like to add a little bit of powder in it so that it kind of gives it a richer flavor. That's what we're talking about. Don't eat them unless you put cookies or chocolate in these molds, which you can do. Don't then use them for your resin or your clay. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for a quick second, and we're going to move on to the resin part of this. I use the Amazing Casting Resin. This is a 10-minute setup time. It dries white. In our case, it's going to dry with some color. The reason why I use this is the clear. As much as I love the clear, it takes at least 12 hours to set up, and that's a lot of time to wait. I will be doing a video here shortly about the different resins, and I do have one video already explaining in a little bit more detail how to use this resin. Nope, it's just... So you start mixing this, and right now it's kind of a yellowish color. You don't want to overmix this because it does set up fast, and you can feel the Dixie cup heating up immediately. Paintbrushes out of the way. I'm gonna scoot this, and then so I use Dixie cups so I can fold them like this, and it makes it easier to pour. If you have a hard time getting the resin into the corners, you can take your little stir stick and help get them, fill in those harder spots. The snowflakes are a little tight in areas, and because of that, I do like using the resin on the snowflakes. Because of that, they just have small little tight spots that sometimes are hard to get your medium into. Okay, so I have a little extra, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it right here. Oop. I got a little carried away. A little extra. Okay, so then I'm gonna take the rest of it. I'm just gonna pour it there. In my other video, it kind of shows, you know, if you have a little bit left, you can pour it into and make it either like this, a thinner pour, or you can just use pieces. Like I only want a piece of something. And then just throw them in a box and keep them for later. All right, so we're gonna give this 10 minutes to set up and we'll be back. Okay, we've had 10 minutes pass. So we're gonna go ahead and pop these guys out. You'll be able to tell if they're not quite cured enough. They'll still be very soft, and that's okay as long as they're not kind of sticky. It's actually kind of nice because, like, if I wanted just this leaf, then I could cut that off really easily. Or if I wanted to shape it a little bit, I could move it around. You can see I did an over pour here, so I'm just gonna pull. This one's a little thicker than a lot of them, but you could use scissors too and just separate that away from it. It's being a little tough, but you can see what I'm saying, it pulls apart. So I could just take some scissors and remove that, and that piece would be able to be used. These are our extra that we used for the leftover pour. And then these are the ones that I added the color to. Put those aside. I'm going to take my little tree. Actually, before I put my tree on there, I want to glitz him up a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit more powder. And it kind of gives it a little bit more of a shimmer, but you can see the color came through nice, and it kind of gives it some character because you got the darker spots and then some lighter spots. And I just want to, since it's Christmas, it's got to be a little glittery, doesn't it? I know there's a lot of people going, no! There we go. Give it a little extra. You can also take like a little bit of the red and put in, like here I did a little bit of brown. No, I guess that is red. A little bit, just to give it a little extra detail. So I'm going to take our Jenga blocks that are glued and painted. And I'm going to take a little bit of glue. Oops. Get rid of that. Flinging pieces along. You ever notice glue doesn't want to come out when you want it to? This is still a little bit soft. But the fun thing about that, you could do like a Charlie Brown tree if you wanted to. I don't know if you remember, but you know how Charlie Brown's tree had the ornament on it? It's kind of like that. You could glue that in place, and that would be cute. And it's still able to move around, and it's soft. Oop. There we go. And there you go. Actually, I'm going to scoot him down a smidge because I got glue all over my hands. Time for a baby wipe. Now I'm going to scoot him down. And you could put the extra mica powder on. Yeah, I mean, as it is, I got a little bit of green up there. And then you can just wipe it off. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a little piece of ribbon. Let's see, what do I want to do? I'll do red. I think I put my scissors away already. Just do a bow. Maybe. Come on, fingers work. I'm going to use hot glue for this part. put a little on the edge just to pull that ribbon over a little bit. Then for the hanger in the back, what I like to do is I'd like to just twist the ribbon on this particular ribbon, kind of make a little loop, make it a little longer. I'll leave it a little hanging in the back too, just in case somebody sees the back of it. And there you go. You got yourself some Christmas ornaments. On the 3 Jenga blocks glued together, you can get quite a few ornaments out of the one box. I don't remember. Let's see, there's 36 blocks, so yeah. Give you quite a few ornaments, even if you varied your different lengths and sizes. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you're looking for any of these products that we have it on our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. Thank you.